Hi everyone, welcome back to The Scent Advocate. Tonight I want to talk about fragrances that I think of as guilty pleasures. So there are 7 bottles from my collection. These are all full bottles in my collection that for one reason or another, depending on the nature of the fragrance, I sometimes hesitate before wearing them in different settings. So some I wouldn't necessarily feel that I'd want to wear to work. Others I wouldn't want to wear around friends or if I'm going out to eat. They just, maybe they project too much, or for some reason with my body chemistry, they come off as bitter or something like that, right? I mean, we all hear stories about people who wear a certain note or experience a certain fragrance and they get polar opposite of what someone else will experience. But that doesn't necessarily mean you don't like it. That just means maybe you don't think people around you will like it or how it smells on you. For me, something's going on with these, but I love them anyway. And I feel like when I wear them, I'm indulging, like I'm doing something not bad, but just for me. So a guilty pleasure, like sneaking a piece of chocolate or something like that. If you are not yet a subscriber to the channel, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to build up the channel. If you like the video, please give me a like at the end of the video, and I'd love to get your comments on these. Let me know if you have any in your collection that kind of fit into this category. Okay, the first one I want to talk about is Pulp by Byredo. This fragrance, you'll see I have used quite a bit of. This is a 50 ml eau de parfum. The notes for this fragrance are blackcurrant, bergamot, cardamom, fig, apple, praline, peach, blossom, and cedar. But for me, I get basically 2 things. I get bitter citrus and cannabis. Yeah. Now, on the paper, it is a punch right in the face. Citrus. Like grapefruit meets the most lip puckering lemon you could ever imagine. That kind of serious bitterness. And then I get cannabis. So my hesitation about wearing this is, I don't know, maybe I'm paranoid, but I always feel like, what if I'm driving and I get pulled over and, for something, and the police officer smells my perfume and thinks that there's marijuana. I don't know. Maybe I'm being silly. I don't use any kind of, cannabis products. I'm really not tremendously familiar. I've smelled it before though. And on my skin, this is a citrus bomb and cannabis. Now, I've heard other people talk about they get the spice, they get the sweetness of the praline. Not me. Nope. So it's also extremely strong on my skin, like extreme. And I've worn this a lot, but truly one spray is whoa. So I'm careful about wearing it. If I am working out at home, if I'm doing stuff around the house in the warmer weather, I love to wear this and have the windows open. It's freeing. It's beautiful. It is what late spring should smell like. But I think the people around me, I don't know how they, what they think of it. But for me, this is an absolute winner. Byredo Pulp. The next fragrance on the list of guilty pleasures is Serge Lutens Jus de Peau. This is an eau de parfum and it is 75 ml. Now, you can see what a dent I've put in this. This fragrance is, on me, bread. Full stop. Baked white bread. On paper, I get some of the other notes, which are spices, licorice, amber, sandalwood, immortelle. Sure, on paper, I guess. It's so much bread, my brain is hit with a bread bomb. So strong, it's difficult for me to discern other notes. When I stop and think about it and I actually see the notes on paper, sure, I get it. Obviously, there's more in there than just bread. But on my skin, it's just bread. And so what happens when I wear it is, unlike other people that I think maybe get a skin scent or the amber comes out a lot for them, nope. What I get from people around me when I wear this is, what smells like bread? It's like, oh, that's me. I only ever wear fragrance really for me. I don't wear it to impress other people or to get reactions out of other people. Sometimes it's nice if I get a positive reaction. I love it when my husband likes what I'm wearing or my daughter. But I wear it for me. And if I'm enjoying it, but people around me feel compelled to comment and it becomes a distraction, then that's not what I want. So this is a fragrance that I absolutely have to wear because I love it so much. But I tend to wear it when I'm at home or if I'm not going to be around a ton of people. This to me is a very cozy, comforting, warm, gourmand that is just completely positive, and it puts me in a wonderful place mentally. So I've worn it to go to sleep anytime I want to feel really comforted, but I always have that thought in the back of my mind, okay, are people going to start focusing on my fragrance more than I would like? Now, I understand on other people it's very much a warm skin scent. On me, it's bread, which is exactly what I want it to be. It's a guilty pleasure. Serge Lutens Jus de Peau. My next guilty pleasure fragrance is Oddity Eau de Parfum by Rag and Bone. You can't really see, I don't think you can see how much I've used. It's about half gone, so I definitely love this stuff. It makes me feel very warm. For me, it is an incense bomb. So it's got the churchy incense, but a very strong wood smoke in there and a dark tanned leather. The notes for this are smoke, leather, wood, incense, and warm spices. I get something of a boozy accord when I spray it on paper, but on me, it is an extremely strong incense. Well, the inclination for me was to just bathe in this stuff because I love it. And what would happen is just something about my skin makes it even stronger. I think it's just too much for people around me. It just projects off of me like no other fragrance I have. This is probably the one that projects the most. Even if I just spray a little, it surrounds me and fills up a room. I love that. I sometimes feel I need that, It's just fragrance for me, like I was saying before, just gives me something very special and very personal. It can make a moment for me that much better. It's the cherry on the cake. But I know that's not the case for everyone. I try to be mindful before I wear this about how much it projects off of me. Finding that sweet spot where I feel satisfied because I can smell it enough and yet not having it be off-putting for people around me who don't enjoy fragrance in the same way I do, that's a tough call. So I tend to be judicious with where I'll wear this, what settings I'll wear this in. So this is one of my all-time favorites, Rag & Bone, Oddity. Next, let's go to Youth Dew by Estee Lauder. This strikes me as having been reformulated. This is a vintage fragrance from Estee Lauder. My grandmother used to wear this, and friends of my mom used to wear it. My mom never really got into it, but some of her friends did, and I always loved it. I thought it was beautiful. The notes for this fragrance are spices, incense, rose, balsam, oak moss, patchouli, amber, vanilla, musk. To me, This is a cola vibe in a beautiful way. Patchouli, cola, oak moss, it's a sheep. And the thing about this one is, like I said, I get the impression it's been reformulated and it smells less strong than it used to. This is an eau de parfum. Yeah, 67 mil. Okay. 67 mil. It's still got the same beautiful vintage bottle that I remember, but it looks a little bit lighter. I remember Youth Dew being even darker. And the fragrance is similar to what I remember, but it's not as strong. But it's close enough that I need it in my collection because I miss my grandmother so much. And there are times when I just need to smell my gram, remember that warm hug and all the love she gave me, and the home that she and my grandfather had together, and feeling so wonderfully welcome there. And so this takes me back to that. And I have other fragrances in my collection that remind me of her, but this one is polarizing. I've seen people comment about it being a little too vintage, criticisms around it feeling dated. I don't agree. This is, oh gosh, I don't know how many. When I run out, I just buy another bottle. So I've had many of these in my collection over the years. I always have one because I need it. It's that important to me that I can smell my grandmother. I know that some people really don't care for it. That breaks my heart. Again, I don't want the focus to be for other people on my fragrance. That's for me. That's a personal thing for me, and I need to smell it. But I don't necessarily want any negative feedback. And so this is also pretty strong. I think it's less strong than it used to be years ago. That's my perception. But other people, maybe they don't like it. And I don't want that to be the focus of anything. I want them to focus on me, and I want to focus on them. But I also want to indulge in a fragrance that makes me feel amazing, and this definitely does. I love it. I'll never be without it. Youth Dew by Estee Lauder. The next fragrance in the collection is Anthamara from the House of Prin. This one is limited edition. I read the notes and I really wasn't sure, but I read a lot of positive feedback about it, so I tested it and I knew right away. I absolutely had to have it. This was really special stuff. The notes in this fragrance are musk, Himalayan amber, that is 35 million years old, by the way, hyrax, black tea, camphor, fir balsam, rose, olibanum, castoreum, oak moss, violet leaf, orris butter, and lavender. There are other notes, but those are the ones that really, come out, sort of smack me in the face with this. This is a 30 ml parfum. And what I love about this, I've reviewed this before, it's actually got handwritten information on the back, including the date that it was made, this batch was made, and the lot, which I think just kind of adds to the sense of occasion for it. So I really love it. This fragrance is very strong. I don't know that it's for everyone. I think everyone should love it. I love it. My husband loves it. But I am sensitive to the fact that not everyone would necessarily love this. I feel like the way it smells on my skin could be polarizing to people around me. I have worn this out. I will wear it out again. Maybe I wouldn't wear it to work if I were going to be in a conference room with a lot of people for a long period of time. I would think twice about it, I'll put it that way, because I think this could be polarizing. By the way, this on paper is nothing compared to how beautiful it is on the skin. Oh, it's lovely. It's got, the musk in here is very unusual. The dark, syrupy, it's almost like a molasses, like brown sugar, only it's not sweet, not very sweet. There's a sweetness, but it's not a sugary sweetness. It's a sweetness that comes from a concentration of different notes. And although some of the notes may imply it's animalic, I don't think it is. I think this is maple syrup and molasses, like I said, very concentrated. Maybe even if you've ever had a balsamic vinegar, but the kind that is sweetened and super thick. It's a glaze even. It's not vinegar, it's a glaze they make out of it. That kind of thing. Now, I'm not saying this is acidic at all, like vinegar. No, but that concentrated, dark, syrupy, almost an umami in there, almost. Absolutely exquisite, beautiful stuff. And this just changes over and over again. This is an experience worth having that can also be somewhat distracting to me. So I'm just blown away by the way this fragrance evolves on my skin. If I'm in a meeting, in a conference room with a bunch of other people, I probably should be paying attention to what they're talking about or what I'm talking about, and not how amazing the evolution of the fragrance is on my skin. So I think carefully before I wear this in certain settings, but it is absolutely stunning. Antamara Parfum from the House of Prin. Next, can you guess what it is? It is Salome Eau de Parfum by Papillon. Why is this a guilty pleasure? Because it smells like sex, straight up. And on me, it's very strong, and I think there's a time and a place. I've heard on other people it smells like vintage jasmine. On me, there's a hint of that, but it mostly smells like sex. I love it. My husband loves it. It's very interesting, right? It's like an experience every time you wear it. It's just wow, and this fragrance gets so much talk. There's so much chatter about it. There's so much content about it, and it is worth it. People smell this and they've got an opinion. This one gets you talking for sure. Every time I smell it, I get a little something new from it. There's a little hint of something that I hadn't noticed before. Like right now, believe it or not, I'm getting a hint of peppermint. I don't know why. That's the other thing. I love it so much that I find it a little bit distracting too. I love to just smell it on myself. So when I spray it, I'll be smelling my arms. And I have noticed that with fragrances that make me do that, or where I subconsciously start doing it, that can be weird at work. Some of these I just love so much. I'm smelling my wrist, smelling my arm. People are looking at me like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? At home, nobody cares. But at work, it's a little odd. It can be strange. So I don't ever intend to do it at work, but it has happened. So I try to avoid wearing to work fragrances where I subconsciously start smelling myself. Just the notes in it are bitter orange, bergamot, orange blossom, castoreum, oak moss, cumin, rose, styrax, patchouli, birch, and vanilla. There are a few others, but this is a sex bomb. And I've talked about it in different videos, so if you want to hear more about it, definitely check out my other videos where I cover Salome. This is a special one, but I probably would not wear it to work. Check out Salome by Papillon. And then there's Black Opium by Yves Saint Laurent. This is a beautiful, boozy, sweet vanilla, and this particular bottle has barely any left. You could see just a little tiny bit at the bottom. This was a gift. And by the way, this is a 90 ml eau de parfum. I love this. On my skin, it's very strong. I tend to overspray it because it's so special to me, because I have a wonderful scent memory tied to it. It being the treasured gift that it is in my collection. When I wear it, I really wear it. That can be, as I've said, a little bit of a distraction, I think, for people around me. Shockingly, there are people who don't love this as much as I do. I don't know why. I think probably far more people like it than dislike it. All of that having been said, it's a personal experience that I don't necessarily want people around me outside of the home to have an opinion about. So I wear it for me most of the time in or around home. I used to wear it out all the time, and I always got a ton of compliments on it when I wore it. I think, on me it just does beautifully. But I think maybe because I have so little left, and once it's gone, the gift will have concluded, and I would have to get another bottle because I can't be without it. And I think I'd ask the person who gave it to me to give me another bottle so that it would continue to have that extra special place in my collection. It's so personal in many ways, like youth do, but different because this is a gift. I don't necessarily want to share that beyond those who are very close to me. So for that, it's a guilty pleasure that I tend to keep close in every conceivable way. So there you have it. Those are my guilty pleasures. What do you think? Should we do one more as a bonus? I have one. I think this will end up being a guilty pleasure. It was a surprise. I didn't expect it to smell the way it smells on me. It is Gloam by Aesop. This is an eau de parfum, and I think it's 50 ml. Let's go with that. The notes as I read them, and I can't recall and I don't have them in front of me, indicated this was more of a resinous. For some reason, I thought this was going to be more resinous than balsamic, but my nose gets a, wow, maybe there is something to maceration because this smells different than it did last week. I'm getting a beautiful parsley basil balsam. And when I sprayed it, when I first got it, it was pine forest, boom. It was almost a little bit air freshener. Now on my skin, it settled into a much nicer alpine forest. But I'll be darned, this is really evolving. I'm gonna try this again on my skin. Maybe this is not guilty pleasure. Maybe this is something I dare wear outside the house. More to come on this one. Let's see where it goes. Anyway, let me know what you think about all the fragrances I talked about. Do you love them? Does it make sense to you that they're guilty pleasures? What are your guilty pleasures? You not wear them out of the house because you think they're going to bother other people or they'll find them offensive, or what is going on with this? I know I've got mine. What are yours? Let me know in the comments. And if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. And once again, if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Have a great rest of the night. Bye.